Andrew Tate has attacked Gary Stevenson. On a podcast with the country's worst landlord, Samuel Leeds, Tate attacked Stevenson for calling for higher taxes on the rich.
I saw some guy, I don't know his name, he was on Twitter, skinny little dipshit, begging for the government to tax us more.
I was going to talk to you about him. Are you on about Gary Economics?
Must be him, yeah.
Is he like got skinhead?
Yeah, skinny
Gary
little dipshit.
Stevenson.
Every revolution in history began with the assassination of the tax man, not sucking the tax man off, hoping he taxes you more. That's not a revolution.
Right.
That is garbage. And the fact that he thinks giving the UK government any more money when they do nothing but waste it. They have hundreds of billions for Ukraine. Hundreds of billions for Ukraine. Why? Because they launder it. So he thinks, let's give the criminals who steal all the money more of our money and maybe it'll all work out because our kids need a future. There's no future as long as you're dealing with crooks, sir. And if you think you could tax rich people, you're also an idiot.
Right.
Because let me tell you from a rich person, we leave. There is no rich person on the planet.
Or restructure things.
Or restructure things. That's right. I can restructure my life and still visit England and enjoy England while having my wealth elsewhere and not pay the taxes.
Yeah.
So he obviously doesn't know very much for an economics fucking whatever he's supposed to be.
Interesting though, because I actually think if you listen to a lot of what he said...
I think he works for the fucking Matrix. I think he's been paid. I think they've put him somewhere, they've put him in. Think about this. Let's analyze this. Like professionals. Let's be professionals.
Go on.
Labor come in.
Yeah.
They're going to put everyone's taxes up, fuck everyone over, remove the winter fuel allowance, and wreck everybody. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, some skinny dipshit is all over the internet begging for higher taxes just before the higher taxes come. Is this a coincidence?
Why is he shouting at me? I mean, can he talk to us, but don't shout at me? Now, if you don't recognise the other person, that's Samuel Leeds. He's a landlord who owned a company called Buy Low, Rent High. He's now changed its name, and I wonder why. Essentially, you have two insufferable people telling us nothing new. You're poor? Well, that's entirely your fault. The circumstances you find yourself in, the state of the economy, inequality, none of that matters. You just gotta be better, bro. Sarah, before we talk about the actual substance, I first want to get your take on this slop podcast bro content. It's the same shit over and over again. There's nothing new.
No, nothing new. I'm so glad you said, why is he shouting? Because I genuinely was like, bloody hell, let me turn the volume down. Why are you screaming at me? I mean, yeah, nothing new except the fact that we've got, you know, a growing pile of gym memberships that people are paying for every single month and crypto losses. Like, that's what they want. And it's the same grift, Curtis, this whole idea that two men in tight t-shirts with microphones in front of them have these worldviews that poverty is a mindset and that the only reason that billionaires are rich is because they're just better at being men. Essentially, they're selling this to young men, they're selling this to boys, being like, we just need to work harder, graft a little bit. And I think Tate and Leeds, I mean, I hate the fact that he's a landlord, it makes me hate him even more, are the equivalent of like a spam email trying to promise you that you can get rich in 10 easy steps. They're just they have these pyramid schemes where they promise you that you can get rich by enlisting on Hustlers University, etc., etc. And actually, that's not the case at all. They are not financially literate. They just financially gaslight you because the only people who are going to be getting richer are them, not the people investing in these ridiculous get-rich-quick schemes that don't actually work. And it's just so insane to me because if anyone's watched the whole video, the things that he says are like egregious. They are heinous about Gary Stevenson. But him even trying to say that because you know you're broke because you didn't hustle hard enough and you're sucking the tax man off, like it's just like, are you forgetting that we've lived through years and years of austerity and that wages have stagnated in the way that they have, or that house prices have absolutely quadrupled? Of course, a landlord won't admit to that because he's the one that's having working people, skimming from the working people. And they're investing in this unregulated like rental market, so he's not going to say anything. But Tate shouting at us, being like, "You're not hustling hard enough." Like, shut up! Stop talking! Stop shouting!
I mean, there's so many things he said which was complete and utter bullshit within that, and it's hard to kind of pick through. But he was saying, "Oh, actually," because he cut Samuel off. I think Samuel was going to say, "Actually, if you listen to him, I don't know if he was going to say some of the things he said was right. I don't know." but Tate cut him off anyway because he loves the sound of his voice.
Mm.
And he was saying, well, it's the Matrix. What I think is, because I mean, he tries and, I mean, he's English, right? But that American accent comes out. Oh, he's getting paid to do it. So you're telling me he's getting paid to call for high taxes? Well, who's paying him? I mean, and also there's this idea that, like, well, basically, he also said that every revolution has been about assassinating the taxman. Where did he get that from? That has no historical relevance. It's not true. I mean, that means nothing. I mean, obviously, I don't expect them to know how revolutions come about, but it does speak to this idea that the government is corrupt. And yes, pretty much every government in the world is corrupt.
Yeah.
But if it's by the government, it's automatically bad. If it's in like the private sector, that's fine. And that speaks to, I think, a lot of people who go down the anti-establishment pipeline, they almost become quite left-wing. And they go right-wing and they sort of go the libertarian route, which is, oh, I like hearing people saying the government is corrupt. I want freedom. And the thing is, though, the reason why the government was set up was the mediatory between government and economic power. The point was to say there is a middleman between the very wealthy and large corporations and ordinary working people. And there are things that the government has done that has massively helped us. Just because that governments are corrupt and often serve the very richest doesn't mean you want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But obviously it benefits it, doesn't it?
No, exactly. No, completely agree. And those are really great points. And I think Tate is just a symptom of a really corrupt society, I think. One where austerity is on the rise, where the cost of living crisis is on the rise, where wages have stagnated. And he's very much aware of it. Like, he's not stupid. And there's so many Tates out there that echo the same things as him. His rant, you're absolutely right, was full of bluster and falsehoods. And him attacking, obviously, Gary Stevenson with insults is because you can't engage with Gary's substance, essentially. It is like, well, okay, so you want to just, well, tax the wealthy, or what are we going to do? We're going to leave. And it's like, well, you won't leave. And it's an empty threat every single time, that even in places like France where taxes did go up, or wealth tax did happen, like nothing happened as a result. So like he offers no serious economic analysis at all, just posturing and conspiracy
I
buzzwords.
think he's scared. I think that's what it is. He's scared because a lot of rich people get scared when we talk about high taxes. Oh no, don't tax me more. Sorry. But I also think that it's more than that, right? Those that call for higher taxation or wealth taxes, we don't just stop there. We want wealth taxes, but we also want to get rid of corruption. And we mean corruption within the financial and economic elite. And I feel like Andrew Tate doesn't like someone like Gary Stevenson, who's popular, calling for wealth taxes, because he's then worried the next movement after will be finding people like Andrew Tate out, going after the ultra wealthy who are exploiting people. And I think he's scared. He's scared that this could undermine his position. And I fucking hope so, because he's a piece of shit. He doesn't sell anything to ordinary people. He sells bullshit scams and cons and bigotry and sexism. Which doesn't help. Doesn't help you in your life. And I don't mean in terms of financially. Trust me, right? If you're a young lad, 15, 16, you've never even kissed a girl, and you listen to Andrew Tate, and you speak to girls and young women like the way Andrew Tate does, you will stay alone for a very, very long time. There's a reason why he can do that. It's because he's very, very rich. And of course, a lot of it is non-consensual as well, allegedly.
Yeah. No, I allegedly, absolutely, completely agree with you. I wish people would listen to your advice, Curtis. But it's true though.
I wish too.
No, but I do think that he is afraid. I think he's afraid of collectivism. Like, we know the likes of Tate are individualistic. They are and it's cynical individualism as well. They only want to serve their own interests. And the idea that people can actually band together and go, hey, you actually do earn shit tons of money and you're probably avoiding tax, maybe. So maybe you should pay a little bit more. Like, you should contribute a little bit more to society that you actually extract wealth from people's income. So, I mean, he knows that now people are becoming more aware of the fact that they want to stand up for class interests, workers and ordinary people versus the billionaire class. And I think that is a fair enough stance to take. It offers him no win if he tries to attack Gary Stevenson, who is Gary's economics is taking a huge stronghold. And mention him to anyone, most people go, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with what he's saying. So I'll say this absolutely directly, like Tate's approach this whole thing is a dangerous distraction, I think, from what actually matters. And I think that's all Tate does. Tate pivots, distracts, and makes the focus all about him when actually in the short term, yes, it might be empowering to young men to hear, like, yeah, like go out there, get a gym membership and work harder because it's all about hustling. But in the end, all it's going to do is going to leave them isolated, it's going to leave them angry, it's going to leave them resentful. And I don't think that that is what we need to be focused on. We need to focus on the fact that there are bigger things to tend to, bigger things to fix within the system, and structural issues that demand our immediate attention. I refuse to give Tate any more attention that he begs for when we can absolutely debunk his misinformation, and I'll do that gladly. But I'll also focus on the fact that I do think wealth tax is the way forward if we want a fair and functional and equitable society.
I really like your line about cynical use of individualism, because individualism, yeah, you could say it improves my material well-being because I'm just thinking about myself. But going through the Andrew Tate route, people signing up to his agenda and his Hustlers University, whatever it's
Yeah.
called, doesn't even benefit you. And that's why you're right. It's a cynical use of individualism because you won't get rich through Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate and all the other podcast bros and entrepreneurship crap, all it basically says is work harder, and if you're not successful, it's your fault. And the charge against Gary Stevenson was, well, you're actually very cynical because you're saying the economy is rigged, and that basically means you shouldn't go out and work hard, which is not what he's saying, by the way. But I think it's very powerful when Gary Stevenson went on that Diary of a CEO podcast and said, I had a person come up to me and they were crying because you're the first ever person that said it's not my fault. You know, I work multiple jobs. I've got to look after my family. I haven't got time to be an entrepreneur when I'm just trying to make ends meet. And I've got all these people telling me it's my fault. And all I need to do is be more selfish and be more sexist. It's utterly crap. Now, look, the reality of the situation is this. If you're born poor, chances are that's where you end up. If you have a rich daddy, well, I mean, no further explanation is needed. People like Tate and Leeds, they're thick. Okay, they have no material analysis of how wealth, how opportunities, or how even capitalism works. Stevenson is calling for higher taxes not because he's jealous. I mean, he's a multi-millionaire, might add. He's doing it for a fundamental reason, and that's to save the economy and to save society. How does the ordinary person get the opportunity to succeed when the multi-millionaires and billionaires buy up everything? They're owning more and more and more. Obscene wealth means the rest of us get poorer. But that's not convenient for Tate and Leeds. They want to sell you the idea the only thing holding yourself back is yourself. They can sell you bullshit courses. It's a con. It's a scam. And they are playing people, particularly young men.
They are.
I mean, I feel like you've probably
grifters.
already gone over this, but I was going to ask you, what's your analysis of the root cause of this type of content? We know how harmful it is. We've broken down what it does, but where do you think it comes from? And why do you think it appeals to young men so much? And then obviously, finally, how do we convince people that Tate and these entrepreneurs are just not worth listening to?
Yeah, really good question. And the irony is that they are very much aware of why they feel the resentment that they feel. They just cannot, I mean, they just can't pinpoint where it's coming from. But what is happening, it's the structural issues that we're dealing with. It is years and years of austerity. It is the cost of living crisis. It is feeling as though you are grafting so hard and not reaping the benefits of of how hard you're working. The fact of the matter is, many of these young people do work so hard. Many of these people are working in a society that seems to be working against them. And it's because what you were saying, we've got the wealthy hoarding wealth. We've got the wealthy being like, I don't want to contribute more. It's causing a real issue here. We've got governments literally saying, yeah, we're going to get rid of, we want to make PIP harder to access. Like all of these things cause people to harbor social resentment. And it's easy when you have the likes of Tate come in and say, look, anyone who supports taxes or feminism, yeah, you're a paid actor for the elites. And then people are going to be like, yeah, maybe he's right. Like maybe all of these people are paid actors and we are just stuck in the matrix. It's easier to sell someone a conspiracy than to be like, can you not wake up and look at the reality of our situation? That the likes of Tate want to grift from someone who's working so hard and take money from you. The irony is rich because it's precisely the ultra elites, the Murdochs, the big banks who push anti-tax, who push anti-worker agenda, and bankroll media to convince people that say wealth taxes are evil. So Gary Stevenson isn't backed by a billionaire, but he's managed to gain quite a few followers. Andrew Tate effectively is. He parrots billionaire ideology. So I think we have to help young people to see through that, see through the matrix conspiracy, look at what the reality is, because the real divide is not man versus woman or lone wolves and paid actors versus, I don't know, the matrix or whatever. It's actually the 99% of us who work hard probably like every single day versus the 1% who hoard the most wealth and power. So Tate's pseudo rebellion or his attempt to try and convince the masses is just a distraction that actually serves the status quo. So it's calling it out for what it is.
Yep.
Wake up.
Well,
It's
very
not
well
upset.
put. Very well put. It's the
Thank you.
99% versus the 1%. And yes, he's like a fake revolutionary to keep you within that system. You know, it's very enticing. It's
It
like
is.
in a way, to steal Marx's line, and I know he is in a very different context, but it's kind of like the opioid for the masses in a way that it's like people feel like they want change. And what's the best way of doing it? Is having like a fake revolutionary saying, no, this is the real revolution. And actually, oh, by the way, I just want to keep neoliberal capitalism, the thing we've been living under for the last 45 years.
Support independent media. Support social justice that's there on social media. Thank you. Turn left.